Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Backpage Breakdown. My name is Antwan Staley. You can follow me on Twitter at Antwan Staley. Also follow me at other social media platforms at Antwan Staley, Instagram, Threads, whatever, across the board. I know it's a lot to talk about, obviously, what's happened in the last, what is it, 15, 20 hours or so, or whatever. A lot of optimism. I'm sure a lot of Jets fans were crushed considering what happened, last night. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers suffering that season ending Achilles injury. Rob Saleh talked about that in his press conference today, confirming that we already knew, found out last night that, Aaron did in fact tear his Achilles. He's on injury reserve. He's going to miss the rest of the season. And, you know, and it's a bitter pill for Jets to swallow, Jets fans to swallow, I'm sure. And it's probably the players. I know last night to kind of give you a, prism, just kind of reflection of how things were in the locker room. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a somber locker room. I think some people would think, but you could tell the players were down when we were speaking to them. I know Randall Cobb wanted to leave the locker room just so he could go, try to talk to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron ended up leaving the stadium, obviously, after his injury, and I'm sure, of course, we haven't spoken to him, but I'm sure he's devastated just simply because of everything that happened. There's a lot of expectations, especially in the building last night at MetLife Stadium. Probably, the crowd was probably as crazy if I had seen it too. A lot of people, showing up, tailgating, seemed like it was just like a big party there. And then all of a sudden, a lot of that just came crashing down on the fourth play from scrimmage from the Jets offense when Rodgers ended up going down, getting sacked by Leonard Floyd. I know some people have, blamed Dwayne Brown for that, but, I don't think it's necessarily Brown's fault. I thought, if anything, I thought Rodgers should have, you know, got it throwing the pass a little bit quicker than what he did. Well, obviously he didn't throw it at all, but I think he should have. He saw a man wide open, coming around, the flat or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think that Rogers had an opportunity to get the pass out of there, so he wouldn't be able to take the sack, and he just didn't do that. And now we're stuck with, of course, Aaron is out for the year. Zach comes in, he does a good job. I think a lot of people kind of have counted Zach Wilson out for a variety of reasons. If you see what happened last year, obviously, the way that went down and transpired, the fact that he got benched multiple times throughout the course of the year, whether it be first after the New England game and then, after the Detroit game and Jacksonville, he got pretty much booed out of the stadium. And I think, now you're in a situation where, you know, I think if anything, Aaron Rodgers was, quote unquote, a band aid for this franchise. Although, it was a good band aid to have because, you got a guy that's won 4 MVPs, has been accomplished as he has been in the league, done all these things. But the fact of the matter is, you know, he's 40 years old or will be 40 years old. Now you got a guy in Zach Wilson who you definitely still need to see what he can do long term because now the keys are in his hand. It's starting with Dallas. I thought last night was a good start for Zach, to be quite honest with you, and he ended up playing really well. I think he had 140 yards passing. He did throw an interception early in the game, but I thought from the late in the third quarter on, I thought Zach did a really, really tremendous job playing well and helping the Jets, coming back, ended up winning that game, which is it's kind of a sidebar to ended up what happening last night with, Aaron getting hurt. But the good thing is they did win the game. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a situation where they still could have lost the game and lost Aaron Rodgers at the same time. So not everything went poorly for the Jets last night. But yeah, I think, a lot of people are starting to look, this long term prospects. We look at the Jets, just to kind of break it down. I remember, Woody Johnson at the owners' meetings and back in April, May, whatever it is, back then. I think it was in March, but yeah, back in March that, he ended up saying that, Aaron Rodgers was the missing piece to this team. He said Aaron Felt like if they could get Aaron Rodgers there, like they have a chance to, get to the Super Bowl, possibly contend in the AFC. And obviously, they had that opportunity. They were the media darlings throughout the course of the offseason. Had it, a lot of people had high expectations for them, me included. I didn't say Super Bowl, but I thought, at least a playoff win possibly. Also a chance to win the AFC East for the first time in a very long time since 2002. That's the last time they won it. And then all of a sudden, with one play, Aaron going down, that really changes the trajectory of this team. I know Robert Saleh doesn't necessarily think so, but I definitely think it does. To be quite honest with you, because you can't that can hold up above water, but it remains to be seen that can he be the same guy? Can he be a guy that can get this team and put them over the top? Like I say, I think that remains to be seen if he can. I know Robert Saleh had a quote in the press conference, and I'll read it now. It said, "I don't know why people are trying to put an obituary under our team name. Aaron is an unbelievable piece to this whole thing, and we love him. But there are 52 other guys in this locker room, plus the 16 practice squad guys that believe we can do a hell of a lot of good things here." So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think I won't put an obituary on the Jets simply because they have a great defense. They have a lot of things they could offer, but but I definitely think but I definitely think they have a chance to, you know, be really good. To be quite honest with you, so yeah, I don't like I say I won't like I say put a obituary under the team's name, but I definitely think they have a less than ideal shot of making the playoffs now. If you look at it, especially how things go in the AFC, where you have so many tough teams. You have a team you know like the Miami Dolphins, who I believe it's probably the favorite to win the division right now, especially the way that they look against the Chargers. There's a big question with them too. Can Tua stay healthy? And now where you have the Jets kind of coming back in the middle of the pack, they're kind of look for me. I think they look a lot like the Patriots. I think you can say whatever you want to about Mac Jones and him being a mediocre quarterback and things of that nature too, but you know it's not like Zach Wilson is lighting things up either too. So I mean, and the Patriots have a really good defense. I think their offensive line is solid. They have a really good run game. They're a physical team, and that's going to be an interesting battle between those two teams in a couple of weeks there in MetLife Stadium. So the Patriots are back into the mix, I think, playoff wise. Buffalo just did not look good last night for whatever reason. I think Josh Allen just to revert it back to him being a rookie and being a turnover machine, and it's hard to win that way when you got a guy that's turning the ball over 4 times, 3 interceptions to Jordan Whitehead, and then a costly fumble that pretty much sealed the deal for them. But yeah, I definitely think Josh Allen, as long as he's turning the ball over like that, I believe I saw a stat today that he leads the NFL in turnovers during the last few years. So again, it's hard to win that way when you're turning the ball over as much as what he's doing. So for me, yeah, I would definitely, yeah, Buffalo's still a contender. Their defense is still good. I think they showed that last night. But the fact of the matter is, it's gonna be tough in the AFC East, and then not to mention the AFC in general. I think the Browns kind of put some people on notice. Obviously, you got the Baltimore Ravens, who played really well in the second half anyway against the Houston Texans, and then yeah, I think Cincinnati's going to play much better. They typically start out slow. I don't know what it is. I remember last year they started out 0-2, and then they ended up finishing 12-4. So they're a team that likes to get the ball rolling later on in the season, and for whatever reason they don't play well against the Cleveland Browns. So Cincinnati's going to be there. We'll see what Pittsburgh looks like. I know they got railroaded against the 49ers on Sunday, and then got the South. I don't know what Tennessee might be, but I think Jacksonville's still going to win the division there. I think Tennessee and Jacksonville are probably the only two prospects to make the playoffs out of the South. And then the AFC West is interesting. I still think the Chargers are be a team that's contending. The Raiders are very intriguing too. I thought it's hard to tell whether there'll be a playoff team or not. I guess we'll find out against Buffalo this upcoming week. But they end up beating the Broncos team. I think defensively they did a really good job against Russell Wilson and company. But I'm still trying to figure out what this team is. But this is a win, and I think if you can get the 10 wins in the AFC, you have a really legit shot of making the playoffs. So, yeah, I definitely think they're a team to watch out for too. So the AFC is stacked. I think 9 wins might get you into the 7th wild card spot. The 3rd wild card spot, excuse me, the 7th spot in the AFC. But I don't know necessarily that's going to be the case. But yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very tight around that. So yeah, but I don't want to bury the Jets yet. They have a great defense. I think special teams is sound. The running game, obviously, with Brees Hall was tremendous yesterday. I didn't expect that with his first game coming back. Just even though he was on the pitch count, he still went for over 100 yards and really a big part of their offense. But they're going to have to throw the ball effectively. It remains to be seen if Zach Wilson can do that consistently. I think they can for the most part, but they might be a team that's very similar to what they were last year, a team that, had to rely on the defense and the running game to win and win this football league. So it's going to be interesting to see what it is, moving forward with them. And, one last piece I do want to talk about is Aaron. Obviously, Aaron, he'll be 40 in December, and coming off an Achilles injury, it's hard in general, when you come off of an injury like that. But, when you have a guy that's 40 years old, doing the rehab that he's going to have to do, it's going to be difficult. So I definitely believe he's going to come back. I think he's going to try to come back. I know Achilles injuries have hindered and also ended some careers there. If you look at, even a guy like James Robinson, who was with the Jets last year and ended up, in camp with the Giants, he hasn't really fully, gotten back to the form that he was from the Achilles injury. So, yeah, I definitely think he is, it's something to keep in mind with Aaron. Like, can he get back to that old form, even if he does come back from that Achilles injury? I don't know. It's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I definitely think Aaron, especially how tough he is, how resilient he is, and how much he really loves football. Because remember he said he was about 90% retired to begin with, and now he's dealing with this. And you wonder, even if he does come back, what does that look like next year, and can he get back to that old form, especially considering the age and also going off a significant injury the way that he did. So yeah. I will say this to Jet fans. I'm sure there's been a lot of people freaking out, especially considering what happened in the last few, like I say, day or so. But again, you still have this defense, you still have this running game. Hopefully they can stay healthy, and then that might give them a shot to compete for a playoff spot in the AFC. So again, we'll see what happens. I thought I would just kind of be maybe the voice of reason there. They are looking at veteran quarterbacks there. Joe Flacco is possibly a guy that they could bring back, although I know that's not a voice of confidence there among Jets fans. But, there are some other options there. But Zach's going to be the guy. So you just have to ride with Zach Wilson, and, we'll see if he's going to be the guy moving forward. If he's not, if he doesn't do a good job this year, then they might be looking for a quarterback in a 2024 draft. So thought I would have this emergency pod just to, get my thoughts on it. We will have a guest on Thursday, just kind of talking about probably more about Aaron Rodgers and also some NFL stuff too. You can follow me at Antwan Staley on Twitter. Also follow me, Instagram, Threads, all of that nature as well. So until Thursday, see you then.